I'd see him sitting on that couch all day long, just staring at that Hollywood hogwash.
Our favorite show was Hollywood Hogwash.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Hollywood Hogwash. I'm Andrew Pisano, along with my brother Joe Pisano, Josh Reese, and Aaron Rosa. The four-man podcast is back.
We're back.
It was a few weeks, but we're back. These guys didn't show up for Spider-Man 1 and 2, but then they decided to show up for Spider-Man 3?
Took the worst movie of the series to get us all back.
What the fuck are you talking about? Of all the movies, Spider-Man 3?
I was really excited. Spider-Man musical is always one of my favorites.
Yes.
And it's really fun.
Broadway
No,
saw
not
this
really.
movie and they were like, "Oh, I've got a brilliant idea."
Broadway saw this movie and went, yes, but the public went, no.
Yeah. And it's because the Spider-Man musical was just as disastrous as this movie.
My God, didn't someone
I can see
die
that.
in
I
the
can
first
see
night
that.
or something? There was some weird
A
thing.
lot of people got hurt. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's-
hurt, yeah.
I'm not sure. Maybe someone died.
Well, they got Razzies for movies. Do they got Razzies for the Tony Awards?
I'm
Because
sure.
That might win a couple.
Yeah.
It's just what a fall from grace after Spider-Man 2.
Oh, pun.
You know,
What a
arguably
fall from
arguably-
Topher Grace.
Exactly. God. After Spider-Man 2, arguably the best Spider-Man movie, one of the best superhero movies, period.
Yeah.
It just undid all of the goodwill from the second one. First one was good. Second one was even better.
Yeah.
This movie set
And this killed it.
superhero movies back 10 years, I feel like.
Right. This,
was like,
it's
oh,
crazy when you
no.
think about it, but this was only 1 year before The Dark Knight.
Right.
This was 2007.
Whoa.
Dark Knight was 2008.
Yeah.
It's just kind of crazy when you think, because
And they're completely different.
No one
feels
had hope
like-
for The Dark Knight.
It feels like this movie was made in
Batman.
95, like 1995, compared to
Wait.
The Dark Knight in 2008.
Wait.
It's no, this movie was made at least 20 years before The Dark Knight, but it's no.
This movie wasn't made 1 year before Batman Begins.
No.
It was 1 year before the Joker Batman. And
Yes.
Wow, that's fucking ridiculous.
Right.
Wow, I did not realize that until now. That's crazy because it looks like
is.
it's way before.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. So we're gonna get into it. Should be a lot of fun. I mean, rewatching this, it's been a long time since I saw this movie, and admittedly, I was such a Spider-Man mark that back in the day, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it at the time. I bought the Blu-ray. I still have the Spider-Man 3 Blu-ray. I have a giant Spider-Man 3 poster that I got from AMC theaters. Even though this was, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, Aaron, you're the reason why I have it because you were still working there and I wasn't.
Was that the
and then
one
you hooked me up
with the black suit Spider-Man
Yeah.
looking at his reflection
Yeah.
of the red? Yeah.
It's in Leo's room right now.
Oh, is it?
Yes, yeah. So I've had that for so long. I mean, I loved it. And but watching this back, it's been so long since I've watched it. And it's this movie is so awful.
What's sad, though, is that there are a lot of good, fun times in this movie
There are.
around the shitty, horrible times in this movie.
The action is still really good for the
Really
most
good.
part.
Yes.
For the most part, the action is still really good. It feels like, just like the other two Spider-Man films.
Yeah.
But then the dialogue is so bad. The story, the circumstance.
The music.
Where I'm not the first person to say this, but it's only everything in New York only happens to these 5 people.
Yeah, right.
It's just so ridiculously absurd.
I
Yeah.
remember my original takeaway, kind of like you, Andrew, was I was satisfied to finally see the Harry and Peter thing get resolved.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I didn't hate the movie, but
Right.
then when it came time for rewatching, I just was never no, I don't.
It's
I don't want to see.
Hey,
it.
Seth, I say that they're friends,
Yeah.
and then they're not friends, and at the end of the movie, they're friends again.
And that's James Franco.
And
James
that's
Franco
James
was
Franco, yeah.
a part of those movies.
Spider-Man was a part of both Osborn's deaths.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Sure.
Crazy.
Yeah, and then, of course,
I mean, for God's sakes,
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. He said you came.
You came.
You
Yes.
came.
You came.
You came.
You
It's like,
came. I came.
oh, it's great.
We all came. Yeah. And the most offensive thing they did was ruin Venom. We never had Venom on film. I was so fucking excited to see Venom. And then you get to it, and it's just, what the hell? But all right, we'll talk about that later.
Yep.
Get more in depth. First, we need to thank some new patrons. So thank you to Matt Taylor, Zach Taylor. So maybe a couple of brothers signed
Zach
up.
Taylor.
Or it could just be a big coincidence like Spider-Man 3.
If that's
like everything that happens in Spider-Man 3.
That's my ex-brother-in-law. Thank you.
Right, that's right, yeah. We also got Vic Drummer and Adam Zywick? I don't know.
Yeah.
Something
Yes.
like that. So yeah, you can sign up at patreon.com/what's wrong with wrestling. This week, we're starting Ahsoka, the new Star Wars show on Disney Plus.
Excited.
And it's opening up with a 2-episode premiere. So make sure you watch both episodes this
Can't
week,
wait to
guys.
see her
So-
and Anakin.
How many
Yeah.
episodes
Bow, chicka,
until
bow, bow.
the Mandalorian shows up? Episode 3?
I don't think it's set in the same time because Anakin's in it.
Right.
They even show like a little
Well-
thing of Darth Vader. It's like, oh, I guess Darth Vader's in it.
Well, that's the only way they can sell these shows now.
Right.
Vader might show up. Like, oh, okay.
Right.
I'm back in.
Flashback.
Yeah.
I'm just, when are we going to get the Jar Jar death scene? I've been waiting for this for like over 20 years, waiting for the Jar Jar death scene.
Right.
We need it. We need it to finally happen. Like, just show Anakin cut his head off.
Yeah.
I was hoping, like, in Revenge of the Sith, like he's in like a planet that just they just blow up and Jar Jar's face just goes flying into the frame. Like,
Yeah.
oh, Anna! And, you know,
Misa Annie.
right.
Yeah. Or just have him like a deer head in Texas. Just have him on a wall, just like
Yeah,
there.
they- oh, that'd be
someone's
great.
walking through a scene and he's just up there, and it's like, oh, that's good. That's good. That's
That
where
would
he
be
should
so
be.
good.
Or have him be on a planet and the Death Star does its thing, and then you get the slow-mo of like his face disintegrating when it shoots the planet.
The best. It's Jar Jar and Carbonite, right?
Carbonite.
Yeah.
These are all good. I'll take any of these. Just make it happen. It's fucking bullshit. But all right, now we could cover the news and rumors. So according to the Love and Thunder, the official movie special book, which I didn't even know that this was the thing.
What's that now?
That's what it's called.
What's that?
Love and Thunder,
Steelbook?
the official movie special book.
Okay. Whatever.
According to that.
No,
What is that?
It's a thing you could buy. It's on Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah. So according to that, Thor 5 is confirmed to already be in development with director Taika Waititi.
Okay. It's a book that was already written. This is not like a podcast or something, and that's in the book.
Yes.
Okay.
It's just like
Interesting.
here's some nice pictures and some factoids about the movie and
So
shit.
instead of a steel book, it's just like for extras, extra pictures, a little bit of extra content, but in a book.
Right. Basically.
Weird. Okay.
But
I mean, we all kind of assumed that was going to happen, right?
yeah.
I
Right.
mean,
Well, when the movie ended, it said Thor will return. Taika Waititi like said in an interview, like he was like, "Yeah, me and Chris Hemsworth are both like, what?" When they saw that when they went to the premiere,
Right.
Like they were surprised to see that, and they were like, "We didn't fucking say that we were returning." So I don't know,
and then Bob Iger was like, "Here's $100 million." I was like, "Okay, sure,
yeah,
We'll be back.
why not?"
something like that, right? So Waititi revealed that the villain for the 5th film will be more powerful than Hela, which like isn't
Yeah, I
that
saw that.
isn't that Hercules?
Oh no, it's going to be a Super Scroll, right?
Shut the fuck up with your Super Scrolls.
No,
But no,
Hercules
they-
isn't more powerful
they-
than Hela.
they
Not in
teased-
by lore, but
Okay, well they tease Hercules at the end of the film.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not the main villain. He'll just be
Right.
in it. But
yeah, the guy from
Maybe.
Ted Lasso, great actor.
that's right.
Right, because Zeus was in it or in the last one. So
Yeah.
Zeus. That's right.
Interesting.
Russell Crowe.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it could be maybe just a plot. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. Also, Production Weekly reports that Doctor Strange 3 is in development. They said the film will explain how Stephen Strange is one of the multiverse's biggest threats, aside from the Council of Kangs.
Didn't 2 explain
I
that
thought that's
pretty well?
I thought that's what 2 is about. Yeah.
Pretty much only about that.
Right. But yeah, the Council of Kangs.
Right, and
So
it's,
every movie has the same villain. They're just fighting the same villain every movie.
it's
Well,
Stephen
then you
Strange.
got Kang Dynasty. It all leads up to, right?
Right.
Or whatever.
But I feel like that's going to get old.
And we're supposed to get Clea in this movie too.
Who?
Clea, the one that came out at the end of the Doctor Strange.
Clea?
Doctor Strange 2, when he had
Charlize
that third
Theron.
eye.
Oh, okay. All right,
Right,
yeah.
right,
You
right,
You have to
right.
can't
explain that.
You can't expect me to remember her fucking character's name.
Charlize, yeah.
Come on,
but
she was
Charlize.
in it. Come
Yeah.
on. I mean, who knows? Who knows?
Well, that seemed like that could have been like a series of them going to different universes
Yeah,
every
but
episode.
was that third eye blind? Come on, fist bump.
Yeah. Also, there's a big rumor that Avengers Secret Wars is going to be a soft reboot for the entire MCU.
Oh God.
The
How do you do a
film-
soft?
This is a rumor.
Like an easy one. Soft.
It's just a rumor. But this film will be the final send-off to not only the Fox X-Men characters, but the MCU that fans have grown to know and love over the past 15 years. In the aftermath, it'll be an all-new, all-different MCU. There's also rumors that Hugh Jackman, Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire will be in the movie, which means we'll get to see them all die.
Yep.
So that'll be fun. That'll be
What
great.
the fuck? What? You know the MCU that we all love and it's made trillions of dollars? We're gonna scrap it and just start over.
So they're gonna bring all the X-Men in, and
For
then
one movie.
kill them.
I could see them just.
Soft
Well,
reboots?
that's what we felt like Deadpool was going to be, right?
Right.
Deadpool 3.
He was just gonna go around murking. You know.
We'll see. They could recast Tony Stark as someone.
God.
I mean, there's been rumors of the Tom Cruise cameo, but that was never a real thing.
Yeah.
But like, if they recast Tony Stark with another big name actor, I feel like that's gonna really be shitty.
I'm
You
just
don't
trying,
start over.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to understand this because they've been working so hard to rebuild the Avengers.
Yeah.
Bring in all of these new characters.
Right.
Like
Right.
the Avengers are like 70% female at this point. They've been making an effort to do. So you're just going to scrap all that and just
Yeah.
reboot something else?
Right.
I don't understand the direction here.
Right.
We'll
See,
see.
what
I'm
it
sure
is-
they would want. I'm sure they would want Tom Holland to stick around as Spider-Man, but
Sure.
he keeps saying how he doesn't want to do it anymore.
Maybe-
Could just be a negotiating tactic.
And we need the Hulk like to have his big moment that he hasn't really had in
will
these
that ever
movies.
happen?
Well, they're teasing that they're doing some sort of World War Hulk thing.
he has a
at the end
son
of
now, Joe.
She-Hulk.
Come
Yeah.
on, he has a son.
Right.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they just make an announcement. Okay. She-Hulk wasn't canon.
None of
all
that
right?
counted.
None of that counted.
Doesn't count.
Are we good?
Can we take a mulligan? And
Comic-Con-
everyone will be like, yes.
Comic-Con would be like standing ovation.
Right. Please take a mulligan on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. On to the DCU. While discussing the original Suicide Squad movie, director David Ayer has said he regrets the Joker's damaged tattoo. Yeah. And my question is, that's it?
Yeah.
How about the entire Joker character?
Not only regretting, apologizing, I would say would be a better.
Right.
I regret the direction that we made our Joker smoke meth before he filmed his scenes.
He's a crack addict. That's what you did. He looks nothing like any iteration of any Joker ever.
Yeah.
And it was terrible.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with reinventing, but Jesus Christ.
That
man.
was, yeah. Well, that's Nolan reinvented the Joker.
Right.
You know, you want to know I got these scars? That was never a fucking thing.
The only good thing he ever did in that role was the post-credits scene where like Superman's evil and they're in the sand and then he has that little monologue. I think.
Oh, that's in the Snyder cut.
Yeah.
Right,
That's
yeah.
like the only decent thing. His little speech was like pretty good.
I still haven't seen that.
But yeah,
shit.
when we're going
haven't?
through the rank of the Jokers, that Joker in Suicide Squad is the worst Joker.
Oh, it's not even close.
Well,
worst.
it's like it's the only bad one.
Yeah.
It's the only bad. It's the only bad one. But it's like, yeah, if you take away the damage, then everyone would have loved him. I'm sure. Like that's just so ridiculous. He's also said that James Gunn has promised him that there will be an Ayer cut of the Suicide Squad.
What?
And it's just like, what? We
Wow.
have a better
Nah,
one.
we're good.
James
We're good.
Gunn made the good version. That one's great. That Suicide Squad is. We don't need fucking director's cuts of these shitty movies.
Yeah.
Also, DC's Blue Beetle opened this weekend.
Oh, it did?
Yeah. It had the lowest box office opening weekend of any wide-release DCEU film. The film opened to 25.4 million domestically and only 43.4 million worldwide. The budget was reportedly 104 million.
I still don't know who it is.
Well, no,
Robbie Reyes, man, come on.
The
I
Blue
only know
Beetle?
because
I have
kid.
no idea.
It's a kid from Cobra Kai.
Well, I'm just, okay.
Which and not.
I mean, I don't even know who the hero is.
Not enough people watch Cobra Kai for that to matter.
Right.
well, I mean, not enough people know about Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle was a character from like what the '60s. The
They
original.
all are from the 60s.
Well, I'm
Yes,
just
true.
saying, but like no one's ever heard about that hot new
No.
comic, the Blue Beetle.
Right, but again, 99% of people didn't know who the Guardians of the Galaxy were, but then they made an awesome movie.
Right.
You know what I mean? And DC's just, it doesn't help that Flash was
Right.
really bad and did bad. It didn't help that Shazam was horrible and did
And it-
really bad.
It didn't help that they said that nothing really counts until the reboot happens.
Yeah.
Which is why I know he wasn't going to respond to me. Why I sent him I tagged him in a message. What's his face? James Gunn. I was just
good.
like,
I'm sure he
why-
read that.
I know. I'm just like, why should I care about Blue Beetle when you've told me that
None of this
matters until the reboot? Well, surprisingly, nobody shows up to the movie theater, right?
Right.
The movie doesn't look bad. I'm sure, like, if you saw it, you'd be like, yeah, it was all right.
I'll wait for it
know,
when
yeah.
it comes out on streaming.
Reserve
It
judgment.
has like
sir.
the highest ratings of any DCU movie, like
Really?
recent DCU movie. Yeah,
Really?
It has good
Which
ratings.
is a
but-
shame because we've been beaten over the head with all these shitty DC movies.
Yeah.
I don't have the space for it at the moment. I'll see it when it comes out on HBO Max.
I don't really have
Like in a
interest.
week, I'm guessing.
maybe.
Yeah.
It just everything about the trailer screamed like this is a movie for 13-year-olds.
For sure. I agree with that.
Yeah. Also, the Hollywood Reporter says Ewan McGregor has been pitching ideas for a second season of Obi-Wan Kenobi. But what else is there to tell?
Yeah, I don't know. Right.
Like, what is he going to do? Not kill Darth Vader again?
Right.
He's going to be like, oh, I'm going to kill you. No, never mind. I won't kill you.
He just
Is he
wants
going to set him on fire again and just watch him burn?
He just wants to creepily watch from a distance all these children.
Yeah. I'll cut off all your limbs, set you ablaze, and then just let you burn to death.
You were the chosen one.
They've got to be stopped. They've got to be stopped.
before.
I seem to remember you guys saying you didn't care for the Obi-Wan Kenobi show.
I liked it.
It was okay.
Well, these two, I think.
It was okay.
I enjoyed it because it was like a bridge that we never got to see
Yeah.
between young Anakin and the original trilogy.
Sure.
But you need to stop here.
Right.
The story they told
for
with that
sure.
first season, it was great.
It was fine. Let's
Self-contained.
stop. Right.
Stop.
There's no reason.
Please.
Ewan, you don't have enough money, bud? Like, go do something
It
else.
was okay. It didn't add anything to the lore or the story between them.
I thought
and
it did
Princess
add
Leia
some.
was terrible.
'Cause
That was
the-
so bad.
Because that's what we never did get to see was full strength Obi-Wan fighting full strength Darth Vader. We got to see old decrepit
Right.
versions of the two of them fight in the
right.
original trilogy.
Which is like, okay, so they fought 3 times. The first 2 times Obi-Wan kicked his ass, could have killed him both times. And then in A New Hope, he's like, well, Darth Vader must be, we have to defeat the Empire. Darth Vader must be. It's like, well, you could beat him. He's never beaten you. And then
And he was
Obi-Wan
kinda
just
winning that fight.
He was winning, and then he just lets Darth Vader kill him. It's like, well, but you always whooped his ass.
Yeah.
But I guess he's like, I can't do it. I love this kid.
I love this kid.
Too much. I've been watching him for
I'm
40
52.
years.
Yeah. I love you, kid.
Right. That's the best part is Ewan McGregor at the end of the Obi-Wan show, like 8 years, like in 6 years, he turns into the
Oh,
original
God.
Obi-Wan actor.
Well, X-Men fucked that up, too.
Yeah, he aged a lot.
super hard.
Yes.
Yeah. They live in
That
that lonely life on
That
Tatooine.
sand and desert does
Yeah.
wonders for your skin.
Oh, the heat. Oh.
Yeah.
That's all I got, though. Josh, you said you had something?
I had something. We all love hearing updates about The Boys season 4.
Oh, yes. Thank
now, there
you.
is no update on when it is actually coming out.
Thank you, Josh. All right.
No. But we
Oh,
got some
okay.
comments from Anthony Starr. Homelander, which I think is amazing.
Yes.
Now, we've kind of heard these comments before, but from Homelander, I think it's kind of important. He says, there has to be a ceiling, but we can't seem to find it. I was looking at a person I was opposite and said, what are we doing? I can't believe this. I could have done anything else with my life, but here I'm doing this.
You know, it's interesting you say that because it feels like they do say like every season they do crazier shit.
Yeah.
And it
Orgasm.
seems like they
Orgasm.
can't do it seems like they're not even capable of like jumping the shark because everything they do like hits.
Right.
And it's just like amazing. So it's like no matter how ridiculous it gets,
Give everyone a chance on that, by the way.
Well, all
You
right.
do enough of anything and it's going to.
we'll see.
So far, they haven't found it yet, but I mean, they did some
'Cause it's-
crazy shit last
It's
year.
because everything's funny. It's all funny. You know what I mean? Like so no matter what they do, it's always funny.
I've been slowly catching myself up and just saw the finale of the first season. Holy shit, what a great show.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Right.
Holy shit! See, you're so way behind.
Yes.
Oh, you've got so much love to find in season 3. It's amazing. Herogasm. I'm just gonna tell you, it's gonna change your life.
Yeah, it's got to be like early 2024
Probably.
because
when
they're
it comes
done.
out?
Well, that's not official, but I'm just guessing.
And of course, remember this season, Negan is going to be there, so that's gonna be nice.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan,
Playing Negan.
Maybe.
Which is
Negan
crazy.
with superpowers.
Oh, my God.
So with all of the writer strike and the actor strike going on, is it going to be a really long time before we review an in-theater movie again?
Maybe.
Potentially.
Because like already there's not a ton on
Right.
the schedule that we're super excited about, but now with this,
I know.
like
I don't think there's anything
This
for
is
the
gonna
rest of the
delay
year
a
that I'm
ton.
necessarily like we have to review this. You know what I mean? Like there's just nothing like the
Wait,
Marvels.
we're not doing
Paw
the
Patrol.
Marvels.
I saw
What?
Paw Patrol.
Paw Patrol's out. Yeah,
The Marvels is something we're just scratching.
yeah.
kidding.
I would, unless we see it and it's amazing. But come on, what are the chances of that?
Very likely.
What's in December? There might no. I mean, Aquaman. No, I'll pass on that too.
Oh,
Although it might be
God.
so bad that it'd be it's going to
Great.
be easy to
Is
make
there
fun
not a
of.
Star Wars coming out in December? That seems to be their
Beverly Hills Cop. What
Release.
was that? Another Beverly
This is
Hills
just
Cop?
like these. Yeah, these are TBD.
TBD.
TBD. Just Reese. Yeah. So there's really nothing else on the docket for this year.
docket,
So
yeah.
we'll see about that. Yeah. I don't know.
And just quickly, Ron Cephas Jones passed away this past week. He was a This Is Us actor who won 2 Emmys. I've never saw This Is Us. Anyone see This Is Us?
No.
That was ABC, like a recent show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was one of my
People
parents'
say
favorite
it's
shows.
great and you're like crying every episode.
Yeah,
That's-
it's a
Oh,
drama.
that sounds great.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a real tearjerker.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. All right. On to Spider-Man 3.
There it is.
Here we go.
He's in.
So this time the intro credits recap the previous 2 films. But yeah.
you know what this made me think of? You know how the biggest sign of a shitty movie coming is when you see the trailer and it's like from the studio that brought you blah blah blah,
Yeah.
or from the director, but like that's always a red flag that a shitty movie's coming. And this opens with clips of the first 2 movies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
ooh.
Spider-Man 2 did that, but like Spider-Man 2 had like cool illustrations instead of like just showing the video, like just literally showing clips
Right.
from the last 2 films. It was like, yeah, I like that better. It was cooler.
Yeah.
And also, like the first thing, it starts with the fucking narration, the voiceover with Tobey Maguire, and there's just like a video of Spider-Man always playing on Times Square. Like, this is the guy. This is the guy. Here he is.
I mean, if a superhero was in real life, I'm sure there'd be a lot of press.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
seems like something that would be there like
Yeah.
that.
And he's
A
like,
GIF.
oh, people really like me now. And
Right.
he's like, oh, I get to be on class. Somehow he's figured out to manage his superhero crime fighting with everything. His relationship is going perfect.
He's a balanced man.
He's going to school.
Right.
His classmates are shooting spitballs at the back of his head. Like
Yeah.
it's the 1940s.
Not just that, they're in college now.
college.
I never saw that in college.
No.
And I went to some big, shitty fraternity level classes.
And then one guy's also holding up a
mirror.
a mirror to put it and he's like, Parker, you raised your hand. He's like, no, sorry, it's a fucking thing. It's like, what is?
And
this?
he's even like,
There's so many
web that fucker up, man.
there's so
String
many
'em up.
There's
You know
so
what I
many
mean?
old timey things about this movie
Yeah.
that are just so fucking weird.
Right.
So Peter goes to Mary Jane's crappy musical.
Yeah.
And she's fucking terrible.
Terrible.
They say that falling
That's
in
too
love
much. That's too much.
is wonderful. And that's like as good as she sang.
That's your best impression.
That's a really
This scene was like
better than Stone Cold.
This scene was like 2 minutes long
Dude, she's
of
singing.
her singing.
She's just singing for 2 minutes. And we're like, what? What?
You could have done
That's
5 to 10
Like
seconds
10
of that.
seconds of her singing. And we understand what's going on.
Yeah.
But we get like the whole musical number. Like,
Yeah.
oh, Manhattan Memories. Dear God, that was the name. And then pan up, you see like Peter and like 2 fat guys are sitting next to him, and it's like, oh, haha. And then they pan up, and Harry's in like the fucking
Balcony.
the
so
balcony,
funny.
and he's got binoculars.
He's the only motherfucker with binoculars.
Yes. He's got his fucking binoculars. And then he looks down at Peter and he like he's angry. And it's just like, oh God. It's so fucking weird. So then Peter sees Harry after the play and he's like, Harry, you know, I need to explain things. And it's like, well, just explain.
Yeah.
Before
Don't
Harry
keep asking
interrupts.
for a meeting.
Yeah.
I need a meeting.
Can we have a meeting?
What do you want to say? I need a meeting, sir.
Yeah. And Harry's like, explain it to my father, raise him from the dead. And then Harry goes home and he Green Goblins himself. You know, when his dad did it, he almost died, but Harry's just like, fuck yeah.
Well, younger, stronger, technology is advanced.
It's advanced.
I believe it. I believe it.
And he does it all by himself.
All
He
by
doesn't need
himself.
an assistant to murder.
Well, I'm sure Alfred told him how it worked.
His
Right?
Alfred.
His Alfred, yeah.
And then we have Peter and Mary Jane hanging out on a web and watching shooting stars. And then a meteor crashes by them. And the Venom symbiote attaches itself to Peter's moped. So to recap, like, Peter's like the luckiest guy on Earth. He got bit by the spider. Like, what are the odds of that?
Yeah.
What are the odds you get bit by a radioactive spider to make you a superhero? And then what are the odds that also an alien symbiote from another planet or from outer space lands right next to your moped?
Come on, Andrew. Your suspension of disbelief needs to be bigger than
Not
that.
only that, he's found a non-crazy redhead. I
Yeah.
mean, Jesus, the
No,
luck is
no,
just...
he has not.
No?
No. She's fucking crazy.
More
Yeah.
normal than some redheads.
Oh, for 5 minutes.
Maybe in the first 2 movies.
By the way, that meteor lands like right next to them. No
Yeah.
reaction.
No Spidey sense.
Was that a... Yeah, no Spidey. Like a meteor's coming.
meteor.
Nothing.
I mean, like in the comics, the original way he got the symbiote was the Secret Wars, where he went into another dimension. There was, and then in the fucking cartoon, J. Jonah Jameson's
Right, it's an
son
astronaut.
goes to space. They go to the fucking moon, and that's where the Venom symbiote is. Then it attacks them as they're going back to Earth. They crash. So of course, who goes to save them? Spider-Man. And that's where the fucking symbiote attaches it. Like, that makes so much. Both of those make way more sense than, oh, a meteor crashes right next to him.
It kind of makes you think, like, are there not more meteors crashing into the Earth at different random places?
Right.
Just this one tiny little bit of rock is the one that made it through?
And there's really no true explanation for any of it.
Nothing.
It's just this. How many times have they mentioned aliens
Where'd it come from?
in this series?
Forever.
Like all of a sudden there's an alien monster that lands on the planet
Yeah.
in this tiny meteor and it's going to change everything.
It's ridiculous. And like,
three goddamn villains they had to put in this movie to where they just had to shoehorn all of this shit in.
and everything's like, boom, next scene, boom, here's this guy, boom, nothing has time to breathe.
No,
because right after this,
Yes.
we just have Flint Marco. We don't even know who this guy is yet, and he's already escaped from prison.
He's already running,
and
literally
he's just
running.
like, he's
his
running.
first shot.
And that shot as well looks like he escaped from like Shawshank. Like,
Yeah.
when did Shawshank take place? Like 1920s.
Yeah.
It's just like,
what it looks
what
like.
time period is this?
Right. Back to your point about like the 1950s stuff from earlier. Like what he's wearing, it feels like he's wearing something from
Well,
the 1950s.
that's what he wore in the comics. So but yeah, it's
That's why they did
weird.
it. Yeah.
I
But-
did at least like the little like when the symbiote first shows up. There's kind of like a little Evil Dead-y moment where the symbiote's kind of going after them when they're getting on the bike.
Yeah.
That was nice.
So Flint Marco escapes jail. He immediately visits his sick daughter, but then his ex-wife catches him stealing some bread. And she turns out like she looks at him, and he's holding the bread, and he looks like a kid with his hand in the cookie jar. He's just like,
No, he's like Jean Valjean. This is like Les Mis.
Yes.
Where like he's not really the bad guy, but he's kind of being bad. But you know,
Yeah, and she's
It is
like,
so
"You piece of shit."
weird. Like, okay, his motivation is for his daughter, right?
Yeah,
Whole rest of the movie doesn't give one fuck about his daughter.
she's like, "You and the truth, sitting in jail 24/7. I live in the presence of great truth." What? Are you speaking English right now?
What?
The dialogue is so odd.
by the way, what exactly does he need to buy? And he never gets it.
bread,
No, but for his daughter,
more bread.
why don't we see her just drop dead at some point? He never gets what she
Right.
needs.
It made it
Why do
seem
you-
like
does
she
she
was
need him?
sick from like sickle cell disease or something like
Like,
that.
what is it that
She
you
needs
need?
insulin.
He needs money. He needs more money.
It's
You're
that-
stealing their bread. Like she doesn't even have any food, and you're taking your daughter's bread
It's that South Park joke where like Magic Johnson injects himself with cash.
with money.
Yeah,
and it
right.
cures AIDS.
It's perfect. And that's Teresa Russell, who's semi-famous.
Right.
She did a movie a long time ago called Whoa.
Who
It literally was called Whore.
was she? A hoa?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is also the longest night ever because they went to the play. Flint Marco busts out of jail. Then Peter visits Aunt May. Like it's got to be 2 a.m. at this point. Like just hey, I'm gonna ask MJ to marry me, and she's like, "You woke me up for this."
No,
Yeah.
she had a gentleman call her just leave.
Right.
So yeah, Aunt May's
There.
always up.
There it is.
So May reminisces about Uncle Ben proposing to her, and then she makes Peter feel guilty for his death again. She's like, "Oh, it'd be 40 years if you didn't kill him, you piece of shit. But here, take the engagement ring that Ben gave me. We were on the beach when he proposed, and we 69'd all night.
And she's like, his cock was amazing in that suit, and so was I.
He came in my mouth, and I queefed on his face, and I said yes with my queef." And
Thanks,
he's like,
Andy.
"Thanks, yeah, appreciate it."
Peter, where did you go? You're in the bathroom puking? Okay, you must have eaten something bad, I guess. Yeah.
So Harry attacks Peter while he's on his moped.
Again, no Spidey. His Spidey sense is gone in this movie.
Right.
What is it, in 2 where he does the backflip?
Yes.
Or what, 2?
2,
Yeah,
yeah.
2. Where this one, he just rams him. Boom.
I guess goblin serum makes you
Little woozy.
you can't your Spidey your Peter tingle doesn't work as good.
Peter Tingle.
But like, okay, so they took the criticism of the Green Goblin costume from the first movie because everyone said it looked like a Power Ranger villain.
I loved it. But yeah.
And they decided to go with a snowboard. His glider is a snowboard.
I assumed it was a mix of like a Shredder from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with like the mask.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
like a
Sub-Zero.
snowboard or Sub-Zero. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sub-Zero, that's a good one too.
Because he was snowboard, Sub-Zero.
Kids love snowboarding.
Yeah.
They're obviously going to buy this toy.
Yeah.
And then, the shot of Harry throwing Peter through the 2 windows, that was awesome with
Yeah.
the fucking engagement ring dangling there and he's trying to get it back. And
It was a weird pacing thing, though, for this movie because this whole trilogy has been the 2 of them.
yeah.
And then right out of the gates, in the first 15 minutes, you see them having a big climactic fight with each other.
Right. Like, you didn't need Sandman in this movie.
No.
No. Right.
He
You really
brought nothing
didn't.
to it.
Nothing.
They established that his daughter was sick and he was trying to steal bread from early.
And like
then fucked off after
they
that.
got Thomas Hayden Church because this was like right after Sideways, where
Yeah.
like if he became a big star, and like he gives nothing for this performance.
No.
Not really, yeah.
He's
I was
just like-
playing basketball with
everything's, like,
him almost every
monotone.
day when he did this.
Really?
I'm sorry. I was playing basketball with him maybe 3 years before this came out. But
Okay.
yeah, it's kind of funny.
Yeah. So the shot. Okay. So yeah, Peter tricks Harry. He trips him with a web, and Harry goes down. He's not breathing, so Peter takes him to a hospital.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Flint Marco is running from the cops, and he falls into a pit of sand. Again, now it's got to be like 3, 4 a.m.
Yes.
I don't know. pit of sand. Some scientists are doing like molecular tests.
Particle. What was the
Particle. I don't know.
sign?
That's very specific.
PIM particle. I think it's
Very specific.
They were testing the PIM particles.
Hey, we better not come here. There's particle testing going on.
It made me laugh because the scientists are like, "Oh, there's some type of biological mass in there. Oh, it's a bird. It'll fuck off as soon as
It's
we start this."
probably a bird. Yeah. And also,
Yeah, don't check if it's a child or a dog.
like, there's like these 3 old men scientists, and then like the hottest woman on earth walks by, and she's a scientist. She's like, "Here you go," and they're like, "Thanks." And
Thanks.
it's just like, oh, okay.
Who's that? Oh, I hired a stripper to hand me things.
That and also, this thing is not behind 17 key carded doors underground.
No.
Yeah.
It's a hole in the dirt that
was
you
a
can walk into and fall in.
Flint climbed a 5-foot fence
Yes.
to fall into this pit of sand.
Question.
He's ready. He has bad luck.
For $100,000. You guys ready? You
Yeah.
guys ready? What were they doing? What were they creating or testing?
Sand.
What were they trying to like? What were they doing? Like, what if he wasn't in there? What were they creating?
Sending sand to another dimension.
Maybe. All right, that's pretty close. I don't know.
Any answer's the right answer.
What were they doing? You know what I mean?
No, it's, yeah. So anyways, yeah, he gets fucked. Back at the hospital, a doctor tells Peter that Harry will live, but he suffered amnesia and he forgot the first 2 movies.
That's exactly what happened. That's literally, he remembered everything else.
Yeah. So Harry's super happy to see Peter and MJ, and then they leave, and the nurse is like, "Oh, you got great." He's like, "Oh, those are your friends," and Harry says, "My best friends."
No, he said, my best friend.
My best friends. I'd give my life for them. And it's like, wow, how not so subtle foreshadowing.
Yeah, right.
I'd die fighting an alien for them.
You might, yeah, like he should have
You
just
should have
said
just said
that.
that, yeah, right.
I would totally die fighting a Sandman and like some sort of Venom guy from
And
space.
the nurse walks away and goes, "Oh, that guy has a really monster concussion."
Yeah.
Right.
With the snowboard. I'll get impaled with my own snowboard just like my dad.
Yep.
Like, okay, crazy boy. Next up, we have a cool scene of Flint, like, rebirthing as Sandman, like, figuring out how to, become the
The
Sandman.
music just made me laugh because it seems so out of place. 'Cause it's like triumphant music.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he reestablished himself as a person.
Right.
Go, whatever your name is.
So they
Flint
say
Marco.
that this technology wasn't invented when they started shooting this movie.
Okay.
And that the software came up, like they did this for 6 months. They took them 6 months to
yeah.
do the shot.
yeah.
And like the software kind of came in the middle of that, and they're like, "Oh, thank God," because
yeah.
we weren't sure what we were gonna do.
At the
here.
time, it looked awesome.
Yeah.
And it still holds up pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie, the CGI looks better than a lot of the recent MCU movies where they just go super cheap on the budget.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
And like everything was turned to sand except for his daughter's necklace locket.
Yeah.
Everything.
Right.
Well, it's metal.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. And like when he takes his first step, I feel like that was a nod to Terminator 2.
very
When the
similar.
T-1000 takes the step and his ankle breaks, it's like it just shatters. It's like
Yes.
then he puts himself back together and he keeps his favorite striped shirt.
Sure.
He's like, well, yeah, that's my favorite shirt,
Yeah.
I could have reconstituted in a 3-piece suit, but nope, the green striped shirt I just randomly grabbed.
Yeah, that's fine because the last time the police saw me, I was wearing these
Yeah.
clothes.
Can he look like anyone?
right.
Right? Yeah, he look like anyone.
That's ridiculous.
Well, he's basically Dr. Manhattan from Watchmen.
Or Clayface.
Clayface. Yeah, exactly.
Even better, he could have reconstituted with a giant blue cock. Why didn't he?
Yes. Come on now.
Show us that cock.
Come on.
So MJ is upset about her poor reviews, and Peter is like, at this point, he's still being a good boyfriend. He's trying to build her back up.
Yeah.
He's like, no, look, I get it, because Spider-Man gets shit on, and and she's like, well, fuck Spider-Man, me. Actresses.
Excuse me.
Yeah, it's like
bless
they
you.
were writing this movie. They're like, hey, everyone likes MJ from the first 2 movies, except for the excessive screaming, but how can we make everyone hate her fucking guts?
She's horrible.
And this movie should be about how Peter's the dick because of the symbiote,
Right.
But no, it's like, I don't know why they wanted us to hate her.
She leads with the dickness.
Right.
Everything he does to her in this movie is kind of warranted.
Yeah.
This movie should be about a horrible, horrible relationship.
Yes, it's very toxic.
Painful, toxic relationship.
I mean, by the way, the first movie had a love triangle. This movie has two love triangles.
Yeah.
2 of them.
A double triangle.
It's too much. Yeah. And then Peter hears a police scanner and he tells MJ, like, she's like, she's like crying her eyes out. And he's just like, go get him, Tiger. Ah! And she's like, fuck you. And he just leaves.
She's like, eat a dick.
You can't let this one go.
Eat a dick.
Spider-Man!
Yeah.
Like, does he ever let the scanner go and not,
Can't save everyone.
We were talking about that during the movie. Like, does he answer every single call that comes through the
Like,
scanner?
what if he's like about to come and he's like, fuck.
Like, which ones does he ignore?
Can we put on some R&B music?
I bet he
I
comes.
gotta hear the police scanner.
That's what they fuck do. Police scanner.
Yeah.
Not only that, he's a student, right?
You don't even know if they'd fucked. You know?
That's true.
I mean, the way... Also, like, they kiss each other, like, on the cheek when they see each other.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like you're in love. You've been in love your whole life, and you kiss each other on the cheek. What are you been married for 50 years?
You know what? That's why Peter went off and he tried to get some strange with that one girl. Yeah, I can see it.
She'll make out with me.
I can see it.
So then he hears about a malfunctioning crane, and this crane is like, what, 200 feet, 300 feet?
Yes.
It's fucking huge.
Yes.
And this crane hits the building that Gwen Stacy is in,
Coincidence
where
again.
she's doing an office setting model shoot.
Yes.
I've got something big in my pants. It's my copier. What? Are you selling printers?
Yeah. What does she do? Anyone?
She's a secretary? A model.
I don't know.
A
Like,
model?
she's
I have no
supposed to
idea.
be smart like Peter.
Right.
Like when they made Amazing Spider-Man with Emma Stone, like she was smart.
Yes.
She even helped Peter figure some shit out in
Different
the movies.
universe, different
She
universe.
helped Peter figure out how to beat Electro.
She's a bimbo here.
And here she's in like his, one of his science classes, and she's like, she's a bimbo. Yeah, it's true. It's fucking stupid. And then we have the oddest casting choice of the movie, Topher Grace, playing Eddie
my
Brock.
God.
Jesus Christ.
This poor son of a bitch left
Really?
a very successful That 70s Show to
Yes.
be in this movie.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone's ever seen or heard of him again.
No, everyone hated him
Yeah, he was
for this.
so bad. What a
R.I.P.
horrible casting.
Tony Grace.
I guess That 70s Show was like number 3 in the ratings or something then.
I guess.
What
All
a
you had to-
horrible
But it's just
choice.
like, no, Eddie Brock is not Peter Parker.
Right.
Because that's all Eddie Brock in this movie. He's just like Peter Parker, except he's a douchebag.
Yeah.
all you had
He's a
to do.
skinny little twerp.
All you had to do was get a no-name actor with some fucking arms and some pecs.
Yeah.
Eddie
Yeah.
Brock was a big fucking guy. That's
Right.
why Venom was so imposing.
Right.
He was a huge
Exactly.
dude.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he sees Gwen hanging hundreds of feet in the air. Okay, he's got a camera. Fine. And also he's standing right next to Captain Stacy, Gwen's
Yeah.
father.
Right.
And he's like, who are you? And he's like, I'm Brock, sir. Eddie Brock. I work with the Daily Bugle, and I'm dating your daughter. And he's just like, what the?
And I'm
what's
fucking your daughter.
And the police officer's not like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, he goes, it's Gwen. He goes, what is she doing up there? I forgot that actor's name, but it's just like,
James Cromwell.
Cromwell, yeah.
and he just goes, what is she doing up there? Dying. She's dying.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Right.
Chief of head of captain of some
So Spider-Man miraculously saves Gwen. She thinks he's amazing, of course. Again, it's a cool scene of her falling and him catching her. Like,
super cool.
everything he does is really cool. And then Eddie's tells Spider-Man he's going to be his new photographer. And Toby's still, Peter's still nice to him for now.
Yeah.
Then we go to the Daily Bugle, which we've talked about, the first 2 movies. This is the greatest performance for any comic book character ever is J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson.
Correct.
He's hilarious in the first 2 movies. And in this one, it's
It's not as good. He's not horrible. I mean,
J.
he's
Jonah
still-
Jameson has a vibrating buzzer that goes off every time Miss Brandt messages him. Why? Why is
No
this happening?
clue.
We're doing
Why?
We're doing Three Stooges shit for some
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah, we
for
really
no
are.
reason
Your
at
wife
all.
says to take the blood pressure medication, yet every time you message him, he almost has a heart attack.
Right.
Not that one. And then finally, and his pills go flying up in the air. It was just so weird.
Yeah.
And then Miss
It's humor for the sake of humor.
Yeah, and then Betty Brant also hates Eddie because he smells bad. It's like she's like, "What's that smell?"
Yeah.
Doogie. And then Eddie sucks Jameson's balls,
Yeah.
and he sells him his Spider-Man photo for $50. You dumb fuck!
You dumb.
$50. Well, I guess you could eat today.
Yeah. You come from money, and this is what you want to do.
Right. So then Jameson tells Eddie and Peter that whoever gets a photo proving Spider-Man is evil, his hand in the cookie jar, will get a staff job. And then, you know, Peter tells Eddie, you'll never get that photo. And then he goes outside, and Stan Lee has his cameo where he randomly just tells Peter, I guess one man can make a difference. Enough said. And it was just like, all right.
Oh,
It just felt off for where we're heading. And
He wrote that in a lot of his comics. He would put enough said.
enough said. It was
Yeah.
always his send-off. So Peter hangs out with Harry at his mansion. They've just got a basketball, and they're dribbling around the mansion.
Yeah, sure.
This reminded me of, like, The Room with Tommy Wiseau with the fucking
Yes.
football.
Yes.
Like, hey, just have a football, and you're throwing the football around, but it's just like, what is this?
That's what humans do, right?
Yeah.
And then they look at the painting of Norman. Like, Harry has the creepiest painting of his father just to always remind him, like, I'm disappointed in you, Harry.
Right.
I love Peter more, you piece of shit.
Yep.
And then Peter tosses the basketball, but it knocks some shit over. But then Harry catches both things before they hit the ground. And he's kind of like, you know,
Just
amazed.
like
He's like,
Spider-Man.
My superhero?
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah. Meanwhile, MJ gets fired from the musical. The producers were like way nicer than Broadway would ever be with an actress. They're like, we could say you got ill.
Did no
It's
one
like,
did no one
bullshit.
call her agent?
Yeah.
Oh no. Why is she here?
And then she walks outside, and people are clapping, and she thinks it's for her.
This bitch.
But really, they're applauding.
The ego on this motherfucker.
They're applauding Spider-Man, who just happens to be swinging by.
Yeah. Right. And she just looks up and she's like, ugh,
What a fuck.
fuck you, Spider-Man.
So then they throw a big party for Spider-Man. They give him the key to the city. Meanwhile, the cops spot Flint Marko because they're like, oh, yeah, that's that obvious shirt that no one else wears.
Nobody.
That's him. And he jumps in a truck full of sand. And, you know, I would ask, why is there a truck full of sand in New York? But obviously for the sand test.
Yes.
Like, we got to deliver this sand. We got to take it. They fucking fried some guy.
Yeah.
I heard they fried some guy. He's
Part
fucked.
of,
For some reason, the sand walked off. We need more sand.
you know what they need the sand for?
What's that?
Particle generators.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And what's that?
Yeah, you don't have to generate particles.
Oh, okay, cool. Just don't jump in there at
No.
4 a.m. because
No.
that's when they do the tests.
No,
Yeah,
because then all that sand would make you like a sand man.
that's right. Yes, exactly. So the cop gets on top of the truck with a shovel, and he's just gonna dig the sand.
What is happening? How about just count to 30, and if no man comes out, he's dead.
Exactly.
What the fuck are you doing?
So Sandman punches him with his giant fist, and then he punches some more cops and flies. They shoot at him, and then he makes like a Godzilla, like he's like, "Rawr!" and then punches them, and then he flies away.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what sand does. Sand flies, you know?
Yes.
And why is it in every movie, like when someone becomes like giant size or whatever, they're all like,
Right.
they lose their voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Gwen Stacy introduces Spider-Man. The crowd goes crazy. He hangs upside down by Gwen, and the crowd yells, kiss him. Everyone's yelling, kiss him, except for one little boy who's like, fuck no, don't
Yeah.
do it, Spider-Man.
Gross.
And then Peter tells Gwen, he's like, go ahead, lay one on me, bitch. And she's like, really? And he's like, yeah, for sure. And they do the upside down kiss right
Yeah.
in front of MJ.
Yeah,
And
I
he
mean, he's
knows
got the Venom
MJ's
suit on at
watching.
this point.
No.
So clearly
No, he doesn't have the Venom suit.
What's that?
No.
Oh, he's not evil Spider-Man
He's
yet?
just a fucking scumbag.
What a scumbag.
He talked to MJ right before this. He knows she is watching.
Right.
It makes
Jesus.
yeah.
They both just
Zero
cheat on each
sense.
other this whole movie.
Everyone's out of character in this movie.
So stupid.
Everyone is out of character.
Yeah, why would he let her do it?
Yeah.
He's caught up in the moment.
Right. It's so weird. So then Sandman attacks a Brinks truck because he needs money to inject in his daughter, like Josh said. So Spidey goes after him. They have a little fight, and Spider-Man saves some people, and then Sandman just leaves.
Yeah.
He's just like, I've had enough, and he leaves.
He floats off so many times in this movie.
Well, like he's like on a building that's like a couple stories up, and Spider-Man just like looking around. It's like he's right there.
Look up.
Look up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
And,
right, Joe. His Spidey sense is so fucked.
It's so off in this movie.
And then he goes up. I guess it's his ego. I don't know. But then he goes up on top of a building, takes off his mask, and there's sand everywhere. And then he goes, where do all these guys come from? That's a funny line.
He had sand inside of him. So he was inside me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Get up in there.
So then Peter meets MJ for dinner, but first he speaks with the host, the Major D,
Amazing.
played by Bruce Campbell, who is always awesome in these movies.
like why isn't he in more movies?
Right.
Like just playing these great
know,
characters.
right.
He's so good.
Romance. I love it. I am French.
He almost got his big break with The Phantom, but Billy Zane barely beat him out for the role.
Yeah.
Not that it would have changed anything, because The
Yeah,
Phantom was
horrible.
nothing, and nothing happened to Billy
The Ben
Zane.
Affleck movie?
No.
Which
no.
one?
No.
The
one-
Phantom?
No, it came out in the it was like the late 90s, I think, like 97 or something, 96.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck was in that, right?
No, you're
No.
thinking
Phantoms?
of Phantoms.
Oh,
And this
okay.
was
no,
The
you're thinking
Phantoms
of
and the
Phantoms.
Phantom. Okay.
No.
Yes.
A lot of Phantom
It's a
movies.
fine line.
Yeah. So anyways, Peter tells Bruce Campbell, put the ring in the bottom of the glass. MJ shows up. They kiss each other in the cheek. And then Gwen Stacy's also there. Again, just a whole lot of coincidence. And she brags to MJ about kissing Spider-Man. And Bruce Campbell keeps thinking Peter is giving him the signal to bring the champagne. And that's funny, like every time.
Really?
Because like two guys show up and Bruce Campbell's like, no! Like, like pointing them to leave.
Yeah.
So
He's like
funny.
almost mad at them. I didn't tell you to come. It's like,
Yeah. And then MJ asks Peter, like, how could you kiss her? That was our kiss.
how could you do it?
And, she's got a point, obviously.
Yeah.
So she storms off, and then Bruce Campbell brings the champagne
Right.
as she leaves. Meanwhile, the police call Peter and Aunt May, and they have them in the, police station to tell them that Flint Marco is Uncle Ben's actual killer.
Of course.
A, how do they know this now? B, why didn't they ever say anything?
Would they do this? Would they call the families and be like, "Hey, we found out it was this guy."
Maybe to give like families closure and stuff like that.
Hell
but if
no.
it's already closed,
If
They
you
said
think-
it was from like Flint Marco confessed to a prisoner. I think that's how they found
I
out.
would think like after they had him in custody, they might say that, but
Right.
not like,
Yeah.
"Hey, we're looking for him. We don't know where
Yeah,
he
otherwise-
is."
He's
He's at
but
large.
He's
Hey,
at
what
large.
was he in jail for if not that?
Yeah, right.
Right.
For
Right,
stealing
that makes-
money for his daughter, right?
that makes 100% sense. 100% sense, Aaron, because then you could have like vigilantes out there trying to
Yeah.
hunt for a prisoner. Why not wait
So-
till he's captured?
Peter, exactly. That's the whole point. So Peter has this vision of what he believes, how he believes Flint killed Uncle Ben, and it was super evil, And also, it's like this reveal ruins the entire origin of Spider-Man.
For sure.
Because the whole thing was he told you, with great power comes great responsibility, and you could have stopped that fucking robber, and you didn't, and because you didn't stop him, Uncle Ben's dead. Well, now none of that mattered. Uncle Ben would have been dead anyway.
Right.
It's just, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
So Peter falls asleep in his Spidey suit while listening to the police scanner, on his bed. Like, who sleeps like that? Like with your arms down. It's
He's
just
so tired,
a
though.
little strange. He's
So tired.
And then the Venom symbiote finally attaches itself to Peter's costume, not Peter. And that's the first big mistake. The symbiote attaches itself to the suit, not Peter. That's not like the comics. That's not like the cartoon. And also, it just turns the red costume black. That's it. Instead of the awesome looking black suit from the comics,
Like a leathery kind of
Which
shiny.
is just like
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
black with, no lines.
with the fucking really cool Spider-Man logo,
Yep.
the updated logo. Like, this is what everyone was expecting.
Yeah.
This is what everyone was expecting.
So he attached to the suit. And is that why he kept on scratching himself throughout
Yeah.
the whole rest of the movie?
He kept touching his chest, like,
It's
ooh, the
scratched,
suit.
I guess. Okay, I got
It was
you.
itchy.
It was itchy.
So we have the cool shot of him hanging upside down, looking at himself through the building, which is from the comics and the cartoon and everything. And then he takes a sample of the symbiote to Dr. Connors.
Holy shit.
And Dr. Connors just is like, hey, don't let any of that on you.
He
All right,
doesn't-
bye.
He doesn't say, we need the government here right now.
Yeah.
Holy shit, what the fuck is
What
this?
the fuck is this?
It's
Let's call
literally-
the CDC. Let's call the
Yeah.
government. Holy shit. It's just,
all he
you might
says
want
is
to try to not
all he
get that
says
on your
is,
skin.
well, it likes you.
Yeah.
It.
Yeah, that thing that's jumping around in
Yeah.
the glass, you know,
Right.
that doesn't look weird at all, you know?
Yeah.
And it likes you doesn't scare the shit out of them.
Right.
Like, oh
Right.
no.
Surprised Dr. Connors is like, hey, let me see that for a second. Let me just put that right on my missing arm.
And
Let's
he's
see
like-
what happens.
Like, oh!
And then he keeps some. So, I mean, he's got this hopping around little
Yeah, he does. He keeps it.
symbiote just, he's working on.
Dr. Connors could keep it under control better than Peter.
Dr. Connors started COVID.
And Venom
Wow.
just takes you and just makes it just bigger, larger
Yeah.
than life. So
Yeah.
if Dr. Connors was covered, he'd be like a Professor Venom. He'd grade more papers,
He'd with eyeliner.
eat more
He'd
apples,
fail more students for
fail
sure.
more students.
Yeah.
Fuck more teachers' assistants.
Yes,
Absolutely.
all of them.
Yeah, starting with Peter. So Spider-Man shows up to a bank robbery. Eddie takes pictures of him, but Spidey breaks his camera. He's
Yeah.
like, fuck you.
And he says, "Fuck you." What does he say to him?
See you, chump.
See you, chump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
fuck you.
1982.
Yes. Then Spidey finds Sandman in the subway tunnels, and he says, remember Ben Parker, the man you gunned down? What does it matter to you anyway? Everything! And he shoves Sandman's face in the subway train. He's brutally attacking him, and then eventually he drowns Sandman with water, and he believes that he's killed him.
Yeah.
He says, good riddance.
Yeah.
And then as he leaves, Peter looks at himself in a reflection, and then he just messes with his hair, and he's emo now.
He's literally like, I need bad guy here.
Yeah, emo Spider-Man.
Done.
Eyeliner
is
just
where-
kind of generated on his face.
Yeah, is that the
Just
symbiote?
manifested.
Was the symbiote like, hey, this be cool, man? Just
Give you guy line.
they just put some of the symbiote around his eyes.
That must be what the symbiote does because later on it affects Topher Grace's teeth.
Yeah,
So,
right.
I mean, it just affects random features of people.
The thing
Symbiote
about
was-
the symbiote in the comics and everything and in the cartoon was like, you can do whatever you want with it. So like you can make yourself look however you want to look.
Yeah.
Whereas,
And this one, it's just the symbiote just chooses for you.
yeah, and this one, the symbiote's just like, hey, buddy, have you heard of Fallout Boy?
Exactly. Oh, we got a broken microphone.
Classic.
Oh boy.
Classic.
All right, so the landlord asks for his rent, but Peter yells, "You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door." So
Finally.
he's super evil,
Yeah.
super evil now,
Oh, he's right.
right?
And then there's like, all right. Yeah.
And then Peter realizes the symbiote is changing him, so he puts the suit away.
Right.
Like that's it. You can just take it off
Just take it off.
whenever you want. So then Peter tells May that Spider-Man killed Flint Marko, and she's like, "What? Spider-Man doesn't kill people." And he's like, "But but Spider-Man, but oh no." And she's like,
He's like, oh, I forgot I didn't tell you I'm not Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Fuck.
and she tells Peter, "Revenge is like a poison. Don't let it consume you." Da 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 da. Meanwhile, MJ got a job at a jazz club, but then she calls Harry instead of Peter. And then Harry and MJ cook together and dance to the 1960s song, "Let's Do the Twist." 1960, this song came out. They're supposed to be like, what, 20 years old?
That's
Yeah.
what
At the most.
That's what 21-year-olds do in
Yeah.
2006.
This is what college kids do.
They
Yeah.
do the twist.
What the hell is
then,
going on?
And then that whore made out with
They
him.
do the twist and make omelets.
Yeah. At 10 o'clock at night? What time was it?
Also, when she called him, Harry was painting fruit.
Yes.
What is
Yes.
this?
Evil.
Evil. So yeah,
What does
and
Alfred do during the day?
Yeah.
Wait, does
Right.
he not cook for them?
Right.
Was he there?
Bernard? I think he says Bernard.
Bernard.
Something weird, yeah. So MJ reads Harry's play that he wrote for her back in high school, and they kiss. MJ apologizes and leaves, and Harry immediately starts drinking. But then he hears his father, "Remember me?"
Yeah. That's pretty good.
And then he touches the mirror and he remembers the first 2 movies.
Just like that.
Also, one of the things I do like about this movie was when Harry comes to and Peter's there, Harry goes, "My dad died, right?" And Peter goes, "Yeah." But Harry misremembers that moment because when he misremembers this whole thing, he goes, "My dad died, right?" And Peter goes, "Yeah." Like he's happy. He misremembers
That was really funny.
Peter was like happy. He's like, "Yeah," and I fucking killed him. Yeah.
Right. That
So
was awesome.
I like that part.
Yeah.
And then Harry sees his father in the mirror, and Norman, tells him, "First we attack his heart."
Yeah.
So Harry kidnaps MJ while Peter's leaving her a voicemail. Imagine the mind fuck. Like she just kissed Harry.
She literally just came home from kissing him.
And then she's like, "Sorry." She's coming home from kissing him. And then he's just like, has her
slamming her against the wall.
He's
Holy
like,
shit.
What a mind fuck.
He's like, cock days.
yeah. And she's like, "Harder." And he's like, What?
What?
So then Ursula tells Peter that MJ called him. Peter meets her in the park, and she breaks up with him and tells him there's someone else.
And what did Harry say? I'll kill him if you don't do this or something?
Basically.
Yeah,
Right?
I guess.
Yeah.
She's not going to be like, hey, Spider-Man.
Right. She knows
no,
he's Spider-Man.
beat
She
Go
should have
beat
just been
Harry.
like, hey, Harry's right there.
Yeah.
He's right there. Do you see it? He's watching us.
Yeah.
No, like you're 7:00. He's right there.
Harry said he was going to kill you.
Yeah.
That's why I'm doing this.
He doesn't have super
No.
hearing. He's very far.
Don't do that.
Peter cries like a baby, begs for her to take him back.
like a
He
baby.
does.
Yeah.
And then she leaves. And then Peter has coffee with Harry. And Harry tells Peter, "I'm the other guy. I've always loved her, Peter." And then Peter's like upset about this. He leaves. But then he looks back at Harry through the window. And we have one of the most popular gifs of all time where
So great.
Harry winks at him through the mirror. And then a bus goes in between them
Yeah.
really quick. And then Harry disappears.
What's the point?
But really, he was under the table.
That's probably all he
Hey,
did.
and then he's like telling the waitress, like, "Do you think he thinks it was cool?"
Is he still
She's
there?
like, "Yeah, I guess."
Is he there? No. Okay.
Can you imagine the waitress? What the fuck's this guy doing?
Yeah.
How's the pie? "Oh, so good. It's just like having an orgasm with every.
How's my pie?
How's that cream pie? And he's like, "Oh yeah,
Spider-Man.
So Peter goes home, puts on the black suit, shows up to Harry's, and Harry tells Peter, "When she kissed me, it was just like she used to kiss me. That taste. Strawberries."
Oh,
So they have a fight,
because she's redheaded, I guess.
yeah.
To be fair, that's creepy, and that's fighting words. I mean,
Of course.
tastes like strawberries. Punch in the face. Come
Yeah.
on.
Well, that's what happened.
Harry stabs him with a dagger. His fucking arm blades pop up from his shirt that he was wearing. Okay.
Yeah.
And like the whole time they're just like saying cheesy lines. "How'd you like that, Spidey? Is that all you got? I protected you in high school, and now I'm gonna kick your little ass." Ooh,
Yeah.
They have a fight.
Spider-Man gets up and he goes, "I can do this all day."
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, wrong movie. My bad.
Right.
They end up, like crashing into the goblin room, and Peter knocks Harry down with the snowboard. And then Harry says, "You're gonna kill me like you killed my father," which that was in the original trailer. And I was like, when I saw that, I was like, "Oh my God, this movie's gonna be incredible." And oh boy. He says, "You took him from me. He loved me." And Peter says, "No, he despised you. You were an embarrassment to him."
Oof.
And then, look at little Goblin Jr. You gonna cry? And then he knocks Harry down one more time. Harry throws a goblin ball, but Peter dodges it, thwips it, and throws it at Harry's face.
Ugh.
And the bomb explodes
Yes.
right in Harry's face.
I mean,
And
deserving.
And Peter leaves thinking he murdered Harry.
Yeah.
And look, these 3 movies are, like I said earlier, they're all about the arc of Peter and Harry and
Yeah.
them coming together in this thing. And finally you have this moment where maybe Peter just killed him.
Yeah.
And you don't feel anything. It's not like a big emotional, like cathartic scene that it should have been. It's just like I guess he just blew up.
It's a cool shot. But yeah, because then it just immediately
snap
it
cut.
immediately just goes into the next scene where it's just like,
Peter's like,
we're done? We're done with this?
He's just walking down the street like, "Hey, ladies, what's up? I'm bad guy now."
He kills his best
Like-
friend, and he's so
like,
cocky. He's so
that's-
happy about
He
it.
couldn't be happier.
And that's
God.
not the scene that makes him like go try to rip
No.
the suit off.
No.
He feels nothing after
Nothing.
this.
Right.
Nothing at all.
So Eddie Brock gets promoted for having a photo of Spider-Man robbing the bank, but Peter immediately reveals that it was a fake, and Eddie gets fired. I guess Peter's the only one that could like figure out, hey, this was obviously photoshopped.
He must have fired his editor the week before.
Exactly.
Damn, J. Jonah.
And then Jameson is forced to print a retract. I've been printing a retraction in 20 years, and it says, "Sorry, Spidey.
Yeah.
Asshole fired."
Right.
And then we have the Peter Parker montage
Here we go.
of him being like
One of the most famous montages of
him
montages.
being a dick, but like a nerdy dick, like not even that bad.
Because all the
wasn't that-
ladies.
The first
Yeah.
couple ladies are like, "Hey." Then as he just walks further down, they start getting scared of him.
Yes. Well,
Like,
they just like, ew, what? No.
Yeah.
Weird.
So it's odd. Ursula bakes him some cookies and he eats them like Phil Hartman and Jingle All the Way.
Yeah.
Oh, these cookies. Oh, yeah, you make better cookies than MJ. It's just like he should have fucked her. He should have fucked Gwen.
He did. I mean, in
think
my
so.
eyes, right?
I think he's
with
still
the evil Venom
I
costume.
think he's still a virgin at this point.
Probably.
Hey, you got some nuts.
If you want to show the symbiote fucking up his life, you could have done it without all the pelvic thrusting, Jesus,
God.
and the dancing.
Also,
you got some nuts. You got some nuts in there.
Dr. Connors.
Make me one with some nuts, and then I'll nut. All right.
Dr. Connors tells Peter that this symbiote was from a similar meteorite that fell to Earth in the 70s, and I feel like that was a punchline. Because then Peter starts acting like he's John Travolta, like in Greek, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
he's full 70s, the finger guns, and
Yeah.
he's hitting on Miss Brandt, but Jameson's like, "Oh, that's not the position I hired you for."
Yeah.
Because she's into him.
She was ready.
Wait, so he says
He fucked
it's
her, too.
a meteorite that we've seen in the 70s,
Yeah.
But they-
something like that.
but they
throwaway
don't know
Yeah.
what it was.
It's,
Yeah, how do you not-
it's a comedic line for how he's acting.
Right.
The symbiote's from the 70s, so he what?
Just
The
start listening
symbiote's
to
favorite movie?
70s music.
The symbiote loved disco music.
I mean, it's like a super weird.
Come on, jeez. I'm trying to get laid. So Peter gets a staff job. He dances through the streets. He buys a black suit on clearance.
Well,
It's
it's still broke, kind of.
clearance. And then the finger guns. And yeah, some women like him, some don't. And it's just like, what's the truth? You know? It's weird.
It's weird.
So then Peter takes Gwen to the jazz club, and she's like, "Oh, can we get a table?" He's like, "Oh, you're gonna love this place, babe."
Oh my god.
And just all the lines, like Eddie's also stalking them, by the way.
Yeah.
And then Peter's, find us some shade.
Find us some shade.
Thanks, hot legs.
Thanks, hot. And she's like,
Yeah.
oh god.
I think he slipped a few fingers in too when
Yeah.
he said that.
For sure.
So MJ's about to perform, but Peter steals her spotlight with a big dance number. And it's just like, again, you have to remind yourself, Sam Raimi is the director.
Right.
He made Evil Dead.
Yeah.
He made Evil Dead 2. He made Spider-Man 1 and 2. He wanted to do a dance number in the middle of the movie. Oh, yeah.
Multiple.
Now dig on this. Now dig on this.
I mean,
You dig? What time? What decade are we in?
with Sam Raimi, you got to take the good with the bad because he is a really cheesy dude.
He is.
Like everything
clearly.
he ever did with Bruce Campbell was, they
was.
did some great stuff, but it
Yeah.
was also extremely cheesy.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get some of that.
So Peter dances with Gwen, then he dips her and he glares at MJ. And then Gwen realizes Peter was using her, so she apologizes to MJ. And I think that's the last we see her. Another character that did not need to be in this movie was Gwen Stacy.
No.
Yeah, they did nothing for her.
Completely
reason for
worthless.
her to
Oh
be
my
there.
god.
So Peter confronts MJ, but the bouncer tries to remove him, so Peter starts attacking him. MJ tries to stop him, but Peter backhands her.
Yeah.
He pimp slaps her.
It's like
Well, it's the 1950s, Andrew.
That's right. In this jazz club, it sure is.
yeah.
And she's like, "What's wrong with you?" And he touches his chest again. And he says, "I don't know."
Yeah.
And then he goes to the bell tower on the top of the church because he's got to remove the suit. However, he does not yet know that sounds and vibrations get rid of the venom, the symbiote.
Oh, and he's easily taken the suit off before in this movie.
Right. But now the symbiote knows he doesn't want him anymore.
Oh,
So the yeah.
all right. Yeah.
Since that was the thing, he never took the symbiote off until, like in the comics and the cartoon, until this moment.
I'm not sure
You don't it's not a fucking pair of clothes. It's a fucking alien on you.
So why
it lives on you?
So why didn't the symbiote fight back like this the first time?
Yeah.
He took this off
Right.
and put it in a trunk.
Yeah, exactly. In a fucking treasure chest. So yeah, Peter's at the top of the church, the bell tower. Eddie goes to the church and asks God to kill Peter Parker. I think you're asking the wrong man, but all right.
Yeah,
It's Old Testament God.
It's not necessarily how prayer works, but he tries.
So Peter's struggling to rip off the suit, but he bangs on the bell and it starts to come off. Eddie hears the commotion. And then they show us a point of view shot of Eddie. Eddie's point of view.
Yes.
Looking up at the tower. And this tower, Peter's at the top of, is hundreds of feet. Hundreds of feet away from Eddie.
Yeah.
And then you just see, and he looks up and he goes, Parker.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
He doesn't have he always has a camera. And earlier he saw it was Gwen because he had a camera.
Just let him have his
your
camera.
fucking camera.
Right. Yep.
Gee, I guess then he would have pictures of him. I don't know. Or the camera could have broken once the symbiote, got
I think
on
you're
him.
giving it a little bit too much credit there, Andrew.
But again, how they did this in the comics and the
for sure.
cartoon was once the symbiote got on him, everything, like, he knows everything from the former, because everything that Peter knew, you know what I mean? Like,
right,
so the
right, right.
symbiote told
Right, it
him.
would have made more sense.
Yeah. So at first he's scared, and then he smiles as he turns into Venom.
Yep.
And then I guess Peter, just flipped home naked. Like, people just were like, it's Spider-Man, and he's naked.
Yeah, he doesn't wear underwear under that suit.
Well,
No.
look, it's
There's no
Spider
lines.
Cock. Spider Cock as he wiggles by.
Spider cock does whatever a spider cock does. I don't know. So then Aunt May
Is that where
Out his cock.
Is that where the web comes from?
Yeah.
Interesting.
He's shooting ropes all over
shooting
town.
ropes.
I'm planning on seeing balls today.
So then Aunt May visits Peter and asks if he's proposed, but Peter gives her the ring back. He's like, well, I don't think I'm ready. I just murdered Harry, I think. So not sure if I'm ready for marriage. I bitch slapped Mary Jane, and she's like, that's okay, Peter. Ben used to slap me around too. It's okay.
Yeah.
And she gives the
It
ring
was my
back.
fault. Dinner was 2 minutes late.
Yeah. Like she was there for 3 minutes and left.
Yeah.
It's like a phone call.
Yeah, sure.
Meanwhile, Venom, Eddie Brock is just swinging around the city, and he gets hit by Sandman. I don't like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And Venom propositions Sandman to kill Spider-Man together. Also, Venom looks fucking terrible.
Also,
terrible.
Venom doesn't proposition him. Topher Grace does.
Yes.
I know.
This is a big problem with Venom. You hardly ever see Venom.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
over half the time Venom is Venom, it's fucking Topher Grace's face.
I just
Yeah.
can't believe they did such a terrible job with just the design of Venom. It looks so bad.
The scene was
It looks like a child drew Venom. Like a 5-year-old child
sure.
drew Venom. And you're like, that's pretty good for a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
let's use it.
Drew Venom off memory.
But the scene was kind of dumb too because he's like, I was just swinging through town hoping I would find you.
Right.
Like he
What
was
the
doing that
fuck?
for 16 hours, I
Yeah,
guess.
straight.
Where he's just passing random piles of sand.
That's right. Dude.
He's digging through sand.
Sir? Sand, sir?
So then we have a shot of Peter stalking MJ outside her apartment.
Yeah.
He's looking up and then he walks away. And then she looks outside and he's gone. And they did this in the other movies too. So then I guess she was planning on going to see him. So she gets in a cab. But the cab driver is Eddie Brock and he kidnaps her. So
That
she's kidnapped
hand of
again.
his, it looked really weird.
Yeah.
Like Creature from the Black Lagoon hand
Right.
instead
Yeah,
of Venom.
no, nothing like Venom.
Yeah.
So this is the second time she's kidnapped. And also, why did he put the taxi cab and a giant truck webbed up in the sky? Why couldn't she just be webbed up there?
I don't know.
I mean, it made
Oh,
for a
right.
cool scene with the cars falling, but it just doesn't feel like it doesn't make much sense.
Web him up like Iron Man 3 style.
Sure.
Yeah, that would have made sense.
Iron Man 3?
Yeah, remember when they webbed not web, but when they had the president tied up in the witch string?
Okay.
Okay. People out there will
Or like
understand what
any
I'm talking about.
Spider-Man movie where they web someone.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know,
yes,
like
yes.
Spider-Man.
There's a
Yeah.
Spider-Man review.
Also, in all three movies, the climax is the villain kidnapping Mary Jane.
Yes.
All three movies.
Yep.
You know, and then he but also the news coverage was not needed. Also, like that was just so overdone. And then they show Spider-Man "Stop Us If You Can" that Venom wrote in the webs.
Yeah. That news anchor, that was the last thing he's ever shot in real life.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That the news reporter also.
I was gonna
She
make
died?
Yeah.
fun
Really?
of him.
Yeah.
And of course, Uncle Ben. This was his last movie
Right.
too.
Yeah.
Because he
can't
shot
make
those
fun of
extra
him anymore.
scenes, at the end.
Yeah. So Harry's at home watching the news coverage. He's like, fuck, I don't know what to do. Peter shows up, and it's like, you didn't think he was dead? Okay. He asked for Harry's help, and Harry is Phantom of the Opera now,
Yeah.
and he tells him to
He's
leave.
Two-Face.
The makeup on that was
Right.
really bad,
This
too.
is the first time we have seen Harry since he killed him.
Peter should be like, you're alive! Wow, that's great.
Whoa, I just showed up to grab some of the goblin grenades. I didn't know you were still alive.
Yeah,
I was going to
something
take
like
your
that.
cool snowboard. It's really cool, bro.
Yeah. He's like, hey, yikes. Listen.
This is awkward.
Yeah.
Did you get my voicemails?
We've both tried to fuck Mary Jane. I
Yeah.
think we both can try to save her, right?
Right.
He didn't even say that.
Yeah.
She needs us, Harry. Leave. Okay, he leaves. Then the butler has this big moment.
Oh my God.
If I may, sir.
If
Holy
I
shit.
may.
I've seen things I dare not speak of. The night your father died,
He started by fucking
I
3 whores.
cleaned his dick. It's no question his dick died by his own hand.
Jesus.
The blade that pierced his penis came from his glider. It's like, well, okay,
Now he's
but
a forensic detective?
Spider-Man could have stabbed him with the glider.
Yeah.
Josh,
It made no sense.
you missed your shot. You could have beaten this guy in casting.
I loved your father
Could have been you, Josh.
All you gotta say is,
loved you, Harry.
all you gotta say is, like when I was cleaning his rooms right before he died,
Yeah,
he confessed what happened.
sure.
Something like that.
You brought way too much energy there, Joe.
Yeah.
I blew your father
I mean, I knew your father.
as I have blown you, Harry, and your friends blow you.
Wow.
By the way,
that's creepy, Alfred.
He's, that guy is Bill Paxton's dad.
Wow.
in real life.
Yeah,
And he's probably dead. I'm assuming.
he's dead. Yeah, no, I don't. I think he
death toll.
died.
High death toll
It's a
for
high
him.
death toll for this movie.
Game over, man.
So Spider-Man shows up and runs by a giant American flag.
Yeah.
9/11.
Yeah.
And then the news report during the fight, like the crowd being there, all that is just sucks.
Right.
Venom tells Spidey, he whips Mary Jane to himself. Ooh, my spider sense is tingling. If you know what I'm talking about. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
And Eddie has the monster teeth when he's not Venom.
Sure.
Yes.
That's odd.
Well, it's
really
even more odd later when they rip the stuff off and his teeth are back to normal.
Right.
Sure.
Yes.
Whatever. So MJ drops a cinder block on Eddie, and him and Peter fight for a bit. Spidey falls on some sand because it's Sandman, and here he is. He's ginormous now.
He's trying to protect his daughter. Oh, wait.
Oh, right.
Okay, not.
No, it's just every
Right.
time he steals some money, fucking Spider-Man's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And MJ's falling this entire scene. She's constantly falling and barely holding on. That's all she does. Venom then traps Spider-Man, and Sandman is just hammering away like Brock Lesnar and Randy, like Brock Lesnar hammering Randy
Oh
Couture.
my God, yeah.
Is he dead yet? Is he dead? And then the news anchor's like, it looks like this could be the end for Spider-Man. Yeah, we get it.
Right.
We understand he's about to die.
Yes.
Sandman's about to deliver the final blow, but a goblin bomb flies into Sandman's head and explodes. And Harry makes his big return, and Peter's like, oh, thanks for showing up. Could have shown up earlier, you
You
fuck.
came. Yeah.
Yeah, you came. And then Jameson is in the crowd watching the fight, and he has to buy a camera from a little girl. More comedy bullshit.
Sam Raimi's daughter.
Extra. Oh, is it?
Yeah. The
Oh.
director's daughter.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then MJ falls and Harry helps Peter save her. He's like, take that, Andrew Garfield, you fucking loser. And then Harry defeats Sandman with a couple of missiles from his snowboard. And then Eddie traps Peter, and Peter tries to tell Eddie, like, stop, you gotta stop. You gotta, don't give in to this. And Eddie gives the worst line of the film. I like being bad. It makes me happy.
Yeah.
Eddie, don't do this. It's gonna destroy your life. I like being bad. It makes me happy.
Jesus Christ.
That is terrible.
Yeah.
So then Harry attacks Venom, but Venom gets his snowboard. He's about to impale Peter with it, but Harry jumps in front and he takes the hit.
Good friend.
I mean, he gets stabbed. Took a goblin bomb to the face. I'm just saying.
He fell off a building. He lived.
Just saying.
He's got superpowers.
Right, but the goblin bomb didn't stab him in the heart. This one went to the heart.
No.
No?
He would not have lived for 10 more minutes, dying in Mary Jane's arms. If
Damn, I
he
think
got
you're
stabbed in the
right.
heart.
So then Peter grabs some poles that vibrate, make a lot of noise, and he traps Venom. He whips Eddie out of the symbiote.
This was a crazy scene because, just like a second earlier, he hears the metal ding, and Venom starts to separate, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's right." Not that he actually ripped this stuff off earlier by the bell.
Yeah.
It's like he almost forgot it.
Right.
It was so strange.
Yeah.
So the symbiote gets huge, but Peter bangs on the poles again. He throws a goblin bomb, but Eddie jumps back into the symbiote, and Eddie and the symbiote explode
Good night.
together. And that's pretty easy. I guess they had to, come up with some way to get rid of the symbiote, but
Yeah.
it's pretty easy. Just one bomb.
Right.
Okay. Then the Sandman shows up and he explains that, what happened to Uncle Ben was an accident, but not really. I mean,
Yeah.
come on. You still holding a gun to him.
Right.
He's like, oh, it was an accident. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then Peter forgives Flint, and then Flint blips away by Thanos.
Yeah.
And he was the first one. He's the first one to get blipped away.
He flies away. No circumstances for what he did.
And then, Peter wants to take Harry to the hospital, and Harry's like, nope, I don't want to live anymore.
I'm out.
I'm done. And he dies in Peter and MJ's arms. They have Harry's funeral. And then some time passes, and MJ's singing again in the jazz club. God help us all.
Oh, no.
I'll never fall again. And then Peter shows up, and they hug, and that's it.
I think this was the third musical number of this movie.
Oh, at least.
Yes.
You count
Jesus.
the finger guns and
Oh, my God.
her singing at the beginning. And
No, I'm just talking about her singing.
yeah.
This is like the third her singing scene.
Yes.
And he just walks in,
Three
and
too many.
they hug, and it's so unsatisfying, the ending.
Yeah.
And
The
that's
end of a
it.
trilogy.
Yeah, Jesus.
That's got to hit hard. The
Yeah.
end of a trilogy.
Yeah, like the second one, you had 2 movies worth of buildup, and they finally get together at the end, and it's so satisfying. And then this one, it's just kind of like, all right.
And then even later in No Way Home, Tobey Maguire's like, me and MJ, we're
not great.
yeah, it's like, are you even together? Like, what happened? Did you bitch slap her again? She's like,
Still
well, I bitch slapped her once.
Affected by Harry's loss. Yeah, can't get over it.
That's right. So, what do you guys want to rate this movie?
Oh, it's tough.
A 3 for Spider-Man 3?
4.
A 3 or 4 at the most.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun. There's some cool Spider-Man scenes, but I mean,
I'm okay
it's a
with
goofy and
watching it
wacky
again,
movie.
though. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's enough in it to watch it again.
Maybe some clips on YouTube,
Yeah, something like that.
like
maybe.
of the fight scenes.
I didn't
but-
mind watching it again tonight, though. I guess is my point. So
It's fun to laugh at.
Yeah.
But it's just so poorly executed.
yeah, I think
I
4
guess
is
a
good.
4. A
I
4
think
is
a 4 is
fine.
good. Yeah.
I would give it a 5 just because it was satisfying to finally see the Peter and Harry storyline resolved.
Yeah.
After 3 movies.
They did
but
such a horrible job with Venom.
They did.
It's so upsetting.
They did.
And we still haven't had a good Venom yet.
Hmm.
You had Tom Hardy, and he was perfect to play Eddie Brock, but
And this
they
is
that was horrible.
so this is still to date the only Spider-Man versus Venom on film we've seen, right?
Yeah.
Just this.
Yeah. Just this.
And it will be, Aaron.
Well, they teased it and then they didn't do it.
All right, so some trivia. So they were planning on doing Spider-Man 4, and Sam Raimi wanted the Vulture, played by John Malkovich.
Oh man.
And Felicia Hardy, aka Black Cat, was going to be played by Anne Hathaway, who later played
Oh, that's
Catwoman.
so funny.
Nice.
Apparently, she was like cast, but they were also going to make her Vulture's daughter, which they ended up having Peter date Vulture's daughter in Homecoming.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. But like, apparently, she wasn't even going to be Black Cat. She was just going to be like some like Vulture sidekick, which was just like, what the fuck? That sounded like shit.
Right.
So
No, I think that they wrote some ideas and
Yeah.
Sony kept a lot of them.
yeah,
Because again, the lizard thing, they already had that idea.
Right.
And they used it on the reboot.
yeah.
So definitely very interesting. This movie's budget at the time was the biggest budget of all time.
What was it?
Well, so they listed at 250 million, but there's like rumors that it got up to 350 million before they actually were done.
CGI
Because of
was
all the
expensive, I
reshoots and
guess.
all the
Right.
CGI. When that new technology came out that I mentioned earlier, they're like, well, it's $1 million a day. And Sam Raimi's like, we got to use it because
Yeah.
it's here. So
lot of
yeah,
money.
350 million. I think it only made like 900 million.
That's it?
Yeah. Well, I know that, but I'm saying for a Spider-Man
of
movie
course.
following a great one, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's
still,
interesting.
still made money, I guess.
Oh, for sure. Alrighty, let's do some fan questions. Pull it up here. Let's see what they thought. Alrighty. Bobby the Mark Soydam, my question is, how did they look at Topher Grace and say, oh yeah, that's our guy?
Jesus Christ.
I have no idea. Again, that
They also
70s
said
show
like
must have been
Sam
good.
Raimi didn't want to do Venom, and they forced him to do Venom.
Then he
So-
wanted to make Venom a good guy. He wanted him to have that kind of
Well,
struggle
Venom does have a turn.
and have more character development.
Venom does turn because when Carnage shows up,
Yeah,
Venom, and Spider-Man team up to fight Carnage.
right.
Anita Dick and me just wanted to give my ratings for the movies I saw this week. Strays, 7.75 out of 10. Funny movie with talking dogs, couple good laughs, would recommend.
Oh, that's the one with Will Ferrell in it, right?
Yeah, it's like Homeward Bound, but rated R.
Right.
Blue Beetle, he gives 9 out of 10. This was a decent surprise, extremely fun, got Iron Man 1 vibes from it. Definitely recommend, especially for Latinos, as there's a lot of Latino representation, but enjoyable for everybody.
I don't understand people that rate something as high as a 9 out of 10 and say decent in their review of it.
I think he said decent surprise, but yeah.
That's a pretty big surprise. I would be super
I
surprised.
was always interested in just seeing Susan Sarandon as a villain, which she is in Blue Beetle.
That's right.
So,
yeah.
I mean-
No, yeah. Not the main villain, though, but yeah.
Who?
Susan
Susan
Sarandon's
Sarandon.
in Blue Beetle.
Oh, she's the villain.
She's a villain.
A villain. Okay.
Yeah, not the main villain he fights. Omar, fuck you, Eric Foreman. Motherfucker, go fuck yourself. This movie made me hate Toby Spider-Man so much. Who's Eric Foreman?
That's his character in that 70s
That
show.
70s show, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure.
Anyways, I watched Blue Beetle and it was pretty good. You guys should check it out.
Wow.
Interesting.
Fair enough.
2 reviews.
Dylan, when me and my cousins were younger, we would watch the movie in the Spanish dub version, and when Peter screams, Harry, at the end, when Harry gets stabbed, the Spanish voice actor made it sound hilarious, and we would piss ourselves laughing. Well,
Guess
that's
let's
good.
find that.
Yeah, right.
Right. Kevin Key, this literally ruined my love of Spider-Man. After the masterpiece of 2, this movie writes itself, and they ruined it.
Yeah.
However, how hilarious is it how hilarious is the acting when Gwen Stacy announces Spider-Man? The extras are so extra. Well, they always are in Sam Raimi films.
Yeah.
Joey Cage, I'm not going to lie. As a kid, this was a banger, and I do realize this is a really flawed movie, but I'd still watch this over 50% of movies today. Well, if you've got member berries about it, yeah. Mistar, how would you rate this trilogy as Spider-Man movies compared to a standard rating? Compared to a standard rating? It's hard for me to rate this unbiased since I'm so, we're all Spider-Man fans.
This is
Still
no
a
Christopher
7.
Nolan trilogy, but I mean, 1 and
if
2
you
were
did
really good.
Yeah, if it was 1 and 2, it'd be a 9. If you could, combining
sure.
those two, it's like a 9 at least. But
Yeah.
A 7.
yeah, it
Probably
brings it
gets down to a
down.
7.
It brings it down. Gerardo, this is one of my earliest memories at a theater, so I have a very soft spot for this movie. I see why people don't like it, but personally, I I always will. Plus, all the memes from this movie are great. Yeah, it's funny. I saw this with Aaron, a midnight showing when it came out, and I was pissed because people were like laughing at serious because they knew it was bad, and I was like holding out hope, and I was like getting angry at the people for like laugh. Like when MJ broke up with Peter, everyone was like howling because of like the crying and everything.
That's awesome.
The Rizzler, this is why trilogies don't always work out. Topher as Eddie Brock, they must have been desperate. Imagine who they could have gotten. You know what I mean? Like after the success of the first two movies.
Why didn't they?
Right. But yeah, I mean, most trilogies, like the third movie's usually not good. It's hard to find a good.
Yeah.
Carlos Ramirez, give me a movie stuffed with villains and I'll be happy. Joe Magalaga should have played Eddie Brock instead of Flash Thompson.
For sure.
I love the black suit and remember the logo being every nerd's phone background in 2007.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah. Nathan Weller, if you could take one piece from this movie and place it in another Spider-Man movie to make it better, what would it be? I don't know, just a shot of Peter getting thrown through the building. I like that shot. I don't know what else.
MJ singing?
Yeah, that's
No.
it, Josh. Yeah. Chef Dave, fun facts. This was Uncle Ben's last movie. Cliff Robertson, Joe mentioned that. He retired after this and then passed away. Also, did you catch Flash Thompson back in this movie? He was at Harry's funeral.
For him to do that extra work, I guess he was literally still no one. Right.
Right.
After 3 of these.
Yeah, he wasn't fucking Sofia Vergara yet.
No.
He wasn't in Magic Mike yet.
Right.
PCJ, damn, this movie was hard to sit through and justify spending money on tickets to the midnight screening. Why couldn't we get new villains and move away from Harry and MJ? All right, it's an interesting take. You still had to pay off the Harry stuff, though. But Pushfire Barry, cringe moments from the movie. MJ and Harry dancing while cooking. Emo Peter Parker, Jazz Club finger snaps, and then Venom.
I would say the worst. I don't know how you would do it, but like the worst was the emo Peter Parker. Like the
Yeah.
Jazz Club finger snaps was pretty
Then
bad
Venom, then the
too.
dancing and cooking, just because it wasn't as important to the film.
Right. I mean, yeah. Fucking up Venom is just... It's a crime.
And the trailer
Unforgivable.
where Topher kind of jumps at the camera, that
Yeah.
was the end of the trailer where it was
Yeah.
like, oh my God.
Yeah, and then
Oh my fucking God.
You didn't see what he looked like until the movie, and
Yeah.
like at the time you're like, yeah, they just want to hold suspense, but really like we can't fucking show these people what this looks like.
Yeah.
They're not gonna go to see this.
Yeah. Does Eddie ever say he's Venom?
Of course.
He does say
Oh,
he's
he
Venom.
always. Oh, in the movie?
Yeah.
Oh, in this movie, no.
No, I don't
So
know.
the name Venom was never used.
I don't think so.
That's what
That's fucking
that's the
hilarious.
one thing you take from this movie for something else is just that one shot, the first scene of Venom.
Like again, go watch the Spider-Man cartoon from the 90s that I grew up watching. They did a 3-episode series on Peter getting the symbiote and then Eddie getting the symbiote and becoming Venom. It's fucking amazing. They should have just made this movie.
Yeah.
It all makes sense. And like Hank Azaria's voice work in that is amazing. Like how he sounds as now we are Venom. Like it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That's what they should have done for this fucking movie.
Yeah.
All right, that is all for fan questions. So please subscribe to our podcast. We've got exclusive videos on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Hollywood Hogwash Pod. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Hollywood Hog Pod. And become a supporter of the show at patreon.com/Hollywood Hogwash. We're starting Ahsoka this week. And next week,
Bada boom.
we, I don't know, we got a movie. We don't know what it is yet, but we got to figure one out. Okay. I mean, we maybe Blue Beetle, but I don't know. I don't know if people could see it. I don't know. Let us know what you want us to.
Yeah.
Let us know what you want us to watch, and we'll see you next week. See you next week.
Spider-Man! Spider-Man.